This week marks the 25th anniversary of President Ronald Reagan's revolutionary report titled Nation at Risk: The Imperative for Education Reform. That report had a profound impact on the country's view of education because it uncovered a slow erosion of our schools by what was described as the rising tide of mediocrity. A Nation at Risk underscored more than just a need for increased rigor in our schools. It made clear that our lagging educational accomplishments against competing countries posed a true national security threat. The report declared that, and I quote, "If an unfriendly foreign power had attempted to impose on America the mediocre educational performance that exists today, we may well have viewed it as an act of war. As it stands now, we have allowed this to happen to ourselves." End quote. In the 25 years that have passed since the release of A Nation at Risk, we have witnessed several constructive reform movements. Throughout the years, Republicans have led the charge on education reform by fighting to expand parental choice, increasing local flexibility, improve teacher quality, promote charter schools, and enhance American competitiveness. We've remained vigilant in protecting the taxpayer's investment by pushing for proven results in exchange for dollars spent. Amid these varied reform movements emerged one of the most transformational education initiatives in our country's history. No Child Left Behind, enacted in 2002, embodied many of the concepts first given attention by the pioneering authors of A Nation at Risk decades prior. No Child Left Behind stands firmly on the principle that every child can learn, just as was so eloquently stated by A Nation at Risk, which read, and I quote again, "All, regardless of race or class or economic status, are entitled to a fair chance to the tools for developing their individual powers of mind and spirit to the utmost." This promise means that all children, by virtue of their own efforts, competently guided, can hope to attain the mature and informed judgment needed to secure gainful employment and to manage their own lives, thereby serving not only their interests, but also the progress of society itself. Despite the early progress of No Child Left Behind, much work remains. And so I believe our nation is still at risk. We are seizing the opportunity now, on the anniversary of A Nation at Risk, to talk to the American people, here on YouTube, in our congressional districts, and in Washington, D.C., to once again make the case that education reform cannot wait. To date, the Democrat Congress has been unable or unwilling to make changes that are needed to strengthen the law. What we need is action, not indifference. We must heed the warning delivered a quarter century ago, but still relevant today, that our nation is at risk. Let us work together to stem that tide of mediocrity and recommit to an educational system worthy of this nation.